You think you know your body? You have lived with it for 40, 50, or maybe even more years. You fed it, gave it water, took it to the gym once in a blue moon, and treated it with home remedies. But the truth is that you live inside a biological machine, a manual you most likely skimmed diagonally, and half of the chapters were retold to you by your grandmother at the entrance of the building. Today we will perform a total inventory of your misconceptions. We will break down 33 myths about the human body that are embarrassing to believe in the 21st century, yet we still believe them. Get ready. Everything will collapse, from your alcohol habits to the scary tales of childhood. Let's begin. Fact 1. Alcohol does not warm you up. It helps you freeze to death faster. Oh, the classic scene. Frost, fishing, or a garage, and a foggy shot glass for warmth. You feel pleasant heat spreading through your veins and think you have fooled winter. It is a national tradition and at the same time the most pleasant way to commit suicide in the cold. Alcohol causes blood vessels to dilate. Blood rushes to the skin, and you really do feel hot. But it is an illusion. At that moment, your body works like an open window in a heated apartment. It rapidly gives away precious heat to the environment. The internal temperature of your organs drops while you enjoy the blush. Those famous St. Bernards with brandy barrels saving climbers. That is a myth. If a dog actually gave alcohol to a freezing person, it would simply finish him off. So 100 grams of frontline drink is not a stove. It is a ticket to hypothermia. Fact 2. Cracking your fingers does not cause arthritis. It only causes hatred from the people around you. As children, we were scared. Don't crack them. Your fingers will get crooked, and your hands will shake in old age. And we believed it, imagining our hands twisted like old tree roots. Let me reassure you, you can crack them as much as you want, until you get kicked out of the house for that disgusting sound. The crack is not bones rubbing against each other. It is gas bubbles bursting in the synovial fluid of the joint. That is just gas physics, not skeleton destruction. One stubborn doctor, Donald Unger, conducted an experiment that lasted a lifetime. He cracked the fingers of only his left hand for 60 years and never touched the right one. The result, no arthritis in either hand. They gave him a Nobel Prize. Well, an Ig Nobel Prize. So crack away, but remember, your colleagues will still hate you. Fact 3. Venous blood is not blue. We are not nobles or squids. Look at your wrist. The veins look blue, right? In school diagrams, they were drawn blue. From this came the myth that blood without oxygen turns a noble azure color and becomes red only upon contact with air. A beautiful theory. Too bad it is nonsense. Blood is always red. Oxygen-rich is bright scarlet. Venous is dark burgundy, but never blue. If blue blood is coming out of you, congratulations. You are either a horseshoe crab or an alien from science fiction, and the men in black are already on their way. The blue color of veins is just an optical illusion. The skin scatters light so that we see only the blue spectrum reflected from dark vessels. Inside, you are as red as the flag over the Reichstag. Accept it. Fact 4. You do not lose most of your heat through your head. A hat is not a sealed lid. Put on a hat, all the heat escapes through your head, our mothers shouted. It was believed that the head was some kind of heat leak through which up to 50% of energy flies away. This myth came from a flawed U.S. Army experiment in the 1950s, where volunteers were sent into the cold in warm suits but without hats. Surprisingly, their heads got cold. The truth is that you lose heat evenly through any uncovered part of the body. The face and head are about 10% of body surface area and lose exactly that 10% of heat. If you go out into the frost wearing a hat but without pants, you will freeze much faster. Yet for some reason, mothers rarely shouted, "Put on long johns, all the heat goes through your legs," though that would have made far more sense. Fact 5. Rust does not cause tetanus. The nail is not guilty for being old. Step on a rusty nail. That's it. Write a will. You have tetanus. That is what we thought. Rust became a symbol of infection, but in reality, iron oxide, rust, is completely harmless to the body. Tetanus bacteria do not live in rust. They live in dirt, soil, and especially manure. A rusty nail is dangerous only because it usually lies in dirt and has an uneven surface where bacteria can hide. If you pierce your foot with a brand new, shiny, sterile nail that was lying in soil with fertilizer, the effect will be the same. So fear not the reddish coating, but the fact that you are walking barefoot on a dump. Fact 6. Carrots do not improve night vision. That was wartime propaganda. Eat carrots, you'll see like an owl. They fed us mountains of grated carrots with sugar under this pretext. Yes, carrots contain vitamin A, and it is necessary for the eyes. But if you do not have vitamin A deficiency, eating carrots by the bucket will not give you night vision. You will simply turn orange. Seriously, your skin will yellow. Where did the myth come from? It was disinformation from British intelligence during the Second World War. The British had new radars allowing them to shoot down German planes at night. To hide the technology, they spread a rumor. Our pilots just eat a lot of carrots. The Germans believed it and started feeding their pilots vegetables, and we believed it and keep crunching to this day. Rabbits love carrots, but I have never seen a rabbit wearing night vision goggles. Fact 7. Stomach ulcers are not caused by stress or spicy food. You have a stressful job, an idiot boss, you love chili pepper? Expect an ulcer, people say. For a long time, it was believed that an ulcer was a disease of managers and neurotics. Doctors prescribed milk and rest. And it was absolute nonsense. In the 1980s, two Australians, Marshall and Warren, proved that ulcers are caused by the bacterium Helicobacter pylori. The medical community laughed at them. So Barry Marshall did what a real man would do. He took a vial of the bacteria and drank it in one gulp. A week later, he had an ulcer. Then he took antibiotics and cured himself. A nervous boss can ruin your mood, but the hole in your stomach is drilled by bacteria. So treat it with pills, not yoga. Fact 8. Hair and nails do not grow after death. Corpses do not get manicures. A creepy legend says that if you open a coffin after a week, the deceased will have long stubble and claws like Wolverine. Biological processes supposedly continue even in the grave. Horror filmmakers love this moment, but it is just a nasty optical illusion. After death, the body loses moisture and dries out. The skin tightens and pulls back, exposing the roots of the hair and nails that were previously hidden under the cuticle. It looks as if they have grown, but in reality, the packaging has simply shrunk. For hair to grow, you need cell division, you need energy, you need blood circulation. A corpse, as you understand, has slight technical difficulties with all that. Fact 9. Vitamin C does not cure a cold. Lemons will not save you. Feel like you're getting sick? Urgently take ascorbic acid, tea with lemon, kilograms of oranges. We sincerely believe that vitamin C is a virus killer. This myth was given to us by Linus Pauling, a two-time Nobel Prize laureate, a brilliant chemist who in old age went a bit off the rails and decided that megadoses of vitamins cure everything from a runny nose to cancer. Modern studies involving tens of thousands of people have shown taking horse doses of vitamin C does not prevent colds. The maximum you can hope for is that the illness will pass half a day faster, but you will get expensive urine enriched with vitamins and possibly kidney stones. Your body will not absorb the excess. It will simply flush your money down the toilet. Literally. Fact 10. Do not pee on a jellyfish sting. Seriously, zip up your pants. Thanks to the show Friends and Folktales, everyone feels obliged to urinate on a friend stung by a jellyfish. Supposedly, the acid neutralizes the venom. This is probably the most humiliating myth on the list. First, urine is not acidic enough. Second, the chemical composition of urine can actually provoke the jellyfish's stinging cells to release even more venom. You will not only pee on your friend, you will make the pain worse. The best remedy is regular seawater or vinegar. And if you are just looking for an excuse to pee on people, you do not need a doctor. You need a psychologist or some very specific clubs. Fact 11. Reading in the dark does not damage your eyesight. It only damages your nerves. Do not read in the dark, you will go blind. A classic parental manipulation. We imagine the eye straining and breaking like an overstretched spring. In reality, reading in dim light only causes fatigue of the eye muscles. Your eyes may redden, water, or give you a headache, but this is temporary. As soon as you rest, everything passes. It is like your legs after a long run. They are tired, but they do not fall off and do not get shorter. Vision worsens because of genetics and age-related changes, not because you read comics under a blanket with a flashlight. So relax. Your glasses are an inheritance from your father, not a consequence of loving books. This is only the first part of our debunking. How are you holding up? If your faith in folk medicine has been shaken, excellent. Next, we will cover the myths that made you torture yourself for years in the gym and at the table. Wait for the next part. Fact 12. You cannot sweat out toxins in a sauna. You just smell. Ah, yes, that holy belief that after wild weekends, you can go to a sauna and squeeze all the alcohol, waste, and sins of youth out through your pores. We sit there until we see red circles before our eyes, thinking we are performing a detox. The truth is that sweat is 99% water and a bit of salt. There are no mythical toxins in it. The only organs that detox your body are the liver and kidneys, and they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while you guzzle beer in the steam room, overloading your heart. Sweating does not cleanse you. You just lose water and become dehydrated, salty, and sticky. A sauna is for the soul and for hygiene, not for turning your skin into a wastewater filtration system. Fact 13. Muscles do not turn into fat if you stop working out. This is not alchemy, a nightmare for any former athlete. If I quit the gym, my biceps will turn into a belly. Many men fear that their muscles will magically transform into fat, like a carriage turning into a pumpkin. This is biologically impossible. Muscle and fat are completely different tissues. It is like claiming that if you stop caring for a wooden house, it will turn into a brick one. What actually happens? You stop training. Your muscles atrophy, deflate from disuse, but you continue eating the same amount out of habit. The excess calories go into fat. Muscles leave, fat arrives. They simply trade places. They do not turn into each other. You are not a wizard. You just started eating a lot and moving very little. Fact 14. Antibiotics do not cure the flu. You are just feeding your own stupidity. How does a tough guy treat himself? Temperature 37.2. We swallow everything in the medicine cabinet, especially those strong pills left from last time, just in case. Remember this forever. Flu and colds are viruses. Antibiotics kill bacteria. Trying to kill a virus with antibiotics is like trying to shoot a ghost with a Kalashnikov. Lots of noise, zero effect, and the plaster, meaning your liver and microbiome, falls apart. Moreover, by swallowing antibiotics uncontrollably, you are training the bacteria inside you, creating super monsters that no medication will kill later. So stop committing bioterrorism inside your own body. Fact 15. Drowning victims do not wave their arms and shout, "Help." Movies taught us that a drowning person is noisy, slapping the water and screaming like mad. We look at the beach, see silence, and think, everything's fine. In reality, drowning is a quiet, wordless process. A person has no air to shout. Instinct forces them to spread their arms sideways, trying to push against the water to lift their mouth above the surface for at least a second. It looks as if the person is simply bobbing on the waves or playing. The head disappears and reappears. No shouting, no drama. If you see someone quietly playing in the water with their head tilted back, that person may be dying right in front of you. Baywatch lied to us. Fact 16. You do not swallow 8 spiders a year in your sleep. Spiders are not suicidal. This statistic has been wandering the internet since the 90s. Supposedly, while you snore with your mouth open, spiders see your throat as a cozy burrow. Ugh, disgusting. Relax. To a spider, a sleeping human is a giant vibrating, hot mountain making terrifying sounds, snoring and breathing airflow. Spiders rely on vibrations. Crawling into your mouth would be like you climbing into a running jet engine. This fact was invented by journalist Lisa Holst in 1993 to test how quickly people believe any nonsense they read online. Congratulations, the test is passed. We believed it for 30 years. Sleep peacefully. Nobody needs your mouth. Fact 17. Food at night does not instantly turn into fat. Your stomach does not wear a watch. Do not eat after 6 o'clock. This diet law sounds like a rule for gremlins. Supposedly, exactly at 1800 hours, the carriage turns into a pumpkin, and any cucumber you eat turns into fat on your sides. Your metabolism supposedly falls asleep. Your body does not care about the clock face. It cares only about the overall balance. How much you ate in a day and how much you spent. If you starved all day and at night ate a steak, you will not get fat if you stayed within your daily calorie norm. The problem with night snacking is not the time, but the fact that in front of a series we usually mindlessly throw chips, dumplings, and half the fridge into ourselves, exceeding the daily norm 3 times over. It is not the clock that makes you fat, it is your inability to close your mouth in time. Fact 18. Your heart does not stop when you sneeze. They say that during a sneeze the heart skips a beat, and the phrase "bless you" is almost a congratulations on your resurrection. Beautiful, dramatic, but not true. Yes, the pressure in the chest changes with a powerful sneeze, and the heart rhythm may stumble or slow down for a second, but the electrical impulse does not disappear anywhere. If the heart really stopped with every achoo, allergy season would turn into a zombie apocalypse with piles of corpses in the streets. You are not dying, you are just spraying saliva at 150 kilometers per hour. Fact 19. Alcohol does not kill brain cells, it just switches them off. Every shot of vodka kills 1,000 neurons. We imagined a cemetery in our heads after a corporate party. But if alcohol really killed brain cells in such numbers, alcoholics would die of dementia in a couple of years. Ethanol damages dendrites, the branches with which neurons connect to each other. It is like cutting telephone wires without blowing up the telephone exchange itself. The connection is broken, you get stupider, your coordination drops, you call your ex. The good news, the wires can recover if you stop drinking. The bad news, if you drink constantly, the telephone station will eventually burn out from overload. So you are not killing your brain, you are just sending it into a deep knockout. Fact 20. Walking around with wet hair and no hat does not cause meningitis. Mom used to shout, "Put on a hat, you will get meningitis." It seemed that cold air penetrated into the brain and inflamed it. Meningitis is an inflammation of the brain's membranes caused by viruses or bacteria. Neither cold nor wind nor wet hair can create bacteria out of thin air. To get sick, you need to catch an infection from another person. Yes, hypothermia can weaken the immune system, and you may catch a virus faster. But cold by itself does not generate disease. So with a wet head, you risk looking like an idiot, but you will not necessarily become an infectious disease patient. Fact 21. You do not need to drink 8 glasses of water a day. You are not a camel. This myth is the dream of bottled water manufacturers. Drink even if you do not want to, otherwise you will dry out. People choke on water, run to the toilet every half hour, and think this is a healthy lifestyle. This number was pulled out of thin air. Water is in everything. In soup, in an apple, in a cucumber, and even horror of horrors, in tea and coffee. Yes, coffee has a mild diuretic effect, but it still replenishes the water balance. You have a built-in super sensor for dehydration. It is called thirst. If you want to drink, drink. If you do not want to, do not torture yourself. If your urine is light, you are not dying of drought. Calm down and put the bottle away. Fact 22. Do not throw your head back during a nosebleed. You are not a vampire. As soon as someone's nose starts bleeding, everyone shouts, "Head back!" And the person obediently swallows their own blood, choking and feeling nauseous. This is stupid and dangerous. The blood should flow out, not into the stomach or, God forbid, into the airways. By tilting your head back, you are simply hiding the problem inside. The correct method is to lean forward and pinch your nose. Let it drip on the floor. It is easier to wash the floor than to pump you out from vomiting blood. Do not try to look brave. Just do not let yourself choke. We have covered 2/3 of the way. Do you feel relieved? Or on the contrary, is it getting scary to realize your whole life was a lie? Hang in there. The finale is ahead, where we will finish off the most absurd myths. Fact 23. Do not sit on cold surfaces. You will not have children, and your prostate will fall off. Every Russian-speaking man has heard this from his grandmother. A stone, concrete, a cold bench, supposedly a sentence for male health. The story goes that the cold penetrates through your pants and instantly freezes your future offspring in your prostate. Medical fact. Prostatitis is caused by bacteria, not by a cold bench. Cystitis is also an infection. Of course, if you sit with your bare backside on the ice of Lake Baikal for an hour, you will feel bad, but more from general hypothermia. Brief contact of your rear with concrete will not make you infertile. Testicles actually like coolness. That is why they are located outside the body. So get up from your squat, not out of fear, but because you look like a thug from the 90s. Fact 24. Dysbacteriosis is an illness that only exists in the former Soviet Union. You come to the doctor, your stomach is gurgling, and you are given this proud diagnosis. You have dysbacteriosis, take some probiotics, and you drink expensive yogurt capsules. The secret is that in the International Classification of Diseases, there is no such diagnosis. It is a purely post-Soviet marketing myth. The composition of gut bacteria is unique like a fingerprint. There is no norm of a perfect intestine. What we treat with pills full of dried bacteria is called irritable bowel syndrome worldwide, or simply, you ate something wrong. Stop feeding the pharmacies. Better feed yourself normal food. Fact 25. The microwave does not make food radioactive. It just heats it. Many people are still afraid to stand next to a working microwave oven, thinking they will get a radiation dose like liquidators at Chernobyl, and that food supposedly becomes dead and changes its DNA structure. Microwaves are non-ionizing radiation. They are just very fast radio waves that make the water molecules in your soup vibrate. The vibration creates heat. It is the same principle as if you rubbed your palms together very quickly. The only danger of a microwave is that the plate is always hotter than the cutlet. There is no more radiation there than in your electric kettle. Fact 26. A hangover cannot be cured with a new portion of alcohol. Fight like with like, says folk wisdom, cracking open a beer in the morning, and you seem to feel better, but that is self-deception. A new dose of ethanol simply works like anesthesia. It temporarily numbs withdrawal symptoms, postponing the inevitable. Your body is not healing, it is just getting drunk again and distracting itself from the fact that it is poisoned with acetaldehyde. And hair of the dog is a sure path to a bender, not to health. You are simply taking out a loan from your own liver at a predatory interest rate, and you will have to repay it in the evening with even higher interest. Fact 27. Sweat does not smell. The bacteria living in it smell. We are used to saying, "Ugh, I sweated and I stink." We smear deodorant under our arms to kill the smell of sweat, but fresh sweat itself is just water and salts. It is sterile and absolutely odorless. The smell appears when the bacteria living on your skin, especially in warm and hairy areas, start eating that sweat. The products of their life activity, that is what stinks. Roughly speaking, the smell of sweat is bacteria excrement. So the problem is not that you are wet, but that a feast is going on for microbes on you. Wash more often and the bacteria will stay hungry, and you will stay fragrant. Fact 28. Snoring is not a sign of heroic sleep. It is a sign that you are strangling yourself. In movies, a snoring person is a comedic character. In real life, a wife nudges her husband in the ribs so he turns over. Snoring like a tractor means he's sleeping soundly. In reality, snoring is often a symptom of apnea, a stoppage of breathing during sleep. The throat tissues relax and block the airways. A person literally stops breathing for dozens of seconds. The brain panics from lack of oxygen and forces the body awake. This happens hundreds of times per night. The heart wears out. The risk of stroke skyrockets. Snoring is not a melody of sleep. It is your body screaming for help. See a doctor before you snore yourself into the ICU. Fact 29. Reading while lying down does not ruin your eyesight. Mom was wrong again. Sit up straight, you'll ruin your vision. Reading while lying down was considered a crime against ophthalmology, supposedly because the angle is wrong. The truth is that your eyes do not care what position your body is in, vertical, horizontal, or upside down. What matters is the distance to the book and the lighting. The only problem with reading while lying down is that your hands get tired holding the book, and it gets closer to your eyes, causing strain. Or you just fall asleep and the tablet drops onto your face. It hurts, but it does not affect your prescription. Fact 30. Teeth are not bones and they cannot heal. We tend to think the skeleton and teeth are the same. white, hard, glowing on x-rays. So if you break a bone, it heals. If you crack a tooth, maybe it will heal too. No, teeth are the only part of your body that has no ability to regenerate at all. Bone is full of blood vessels and builder cells. Tooth enamel is dead tissue, a crystal. Any hole in a tooth is forever. It will only grow until you close it with a filling, a piece of plastic, or lose the tooth. So take care of them. A shark will grow new ones. You will only grow new ones for very large amounts of money. Fact 31. The appendix is not a useless remnant. You need it. For a long time, doctors thought the appendix was an evolutionary mistake, an extra piece waiting to get inflamed. In the United States, it was even removed from infants just in case. It turned out to be a bomb shelter for beneficial bacteria. When you get severe diarrhea or food poisoning and your intestinal microflora is washed away, the appendix houses a backup squad of good bacteria that later comes out and restores order. Those who had their appendix removed in childhood recover from infections more slowly, so it is not a mistake of nature, but a strategic reserve of your digestive system. Fact 32. Your metabolism does not break after 30, you just got lazy. I'm 40, my metabolism slowed down, that's why I'm fat. This is the favorite excuse for a beer belly. Supposedly, after a certain birthday, the body hits the brakes. Studies published in the journal. Science analyzed data from thousands of people from 1 week old to 95. The conclusion is shocking. Metabolism remains stable from about 20 to 60 years old. It does not drop at 30 or at 40. You gain weight not because your body got tired, but because you started moving less and eating more. At 20, you ran after girls and danced in clubs. At 40, you only run after beer in the fridge. The problem is not hormones. The problem is the couch. Fact 33. A defibrillator does not restart a stopped heart. The most cinematic myth. A flat line on the monitor, a piercing beep. Beep! The doctor shouts, "Clear!" Shocks the chest and the heart starts beating again. The hero is saved. In reality, if the monitor shows a flat line, asystole, a defibrillator is useless. It is meant to stop a heart that is beating chaotically, fibrillation, so it can reboot and start beating evenly again. A shock to a truly stopped heart would simply fry it. A flat line is treated with adrenaline and chest compressions that break ribs. So if you see a dead heart revived by a shock in a movie, it is a beautiful lie. Real life is dirtier, longer, and with no guarantees. Well, feel better now? Now you know your hat does not hold heat, alcohol does not warm you up, and lying on the couch with a book is not harmful. It is good. Your body is an amazing thing, even if you treat it with the grace of an elephant in a china shop. If you enjoyed how we destroyed your childhood misconceptions, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. We have a whole mountain of historical facts and scientific debunkings that would make your biology teacher's eye twitch. Write in the comments which myth shattered your childhood the most. See you at the next intellectual detox session.